Ladies and gentlemen, happy to welcome you to our presentation. Today we're going to be talking a little bit less vendor-focused and more focused on the best practices for infrastructures for healthcare and government. So without further ado, let's talk about the importance of IT infrastructures for healthcare and government. The reasons why these are the most crucial infrastructures in the world is based on the types of data they handle. Because, first of all, they are united in the fact that they handle very sensitive personal data of citizens and patients, which is something that is heavily covered by GDPR, as everyone knows, which makes it that much more tricky to process and to work with. Secondly, a big pain aspect is the constant availability of data, because those are crucial industries. They require constant uptime of patient data and citizen data, and making sure it's constantly available is a very costly yet important endeavor. And a big one is long-term archival, because all of that data needs to be stored for tens of years, which poses a unique challenge in of itself. So what are the best practices for building IT infrastructures for government and healthcare? Well, first of all, as we already discussed, it's availability. It's a major point that is important to cover. Secondly, backup and disaster recovery. It is often underappreciated, but the industry standard practice of fulfilling the 3-2-1-1 strategy, which says that we need to have 3 copies of any type of record on 2 different types of media, 1 copy being kept off-site, 1 copy being immutable, meaning that it cannot be overwritten, is the de facto standard that needs to be complied with to ensure true data safety. Then we have security, which is obviously a major concern with the prominence of cyber attacks targeted specifically at healthcare. And compliance, since we know GDPR is constantly changing. It's an ever-fluctuating balance of having data accessible yet safe. So using automated tools to ensure compliance is the future. Now, if we were to form a very short checklist of what needs to be covered to ensure true best practice built IT infrastructures, we would have to look at a secure and scalable cloud infrastructure. Now, a common misconception is that when we say cloud, people always assume Amazon, they assume Azure, they assume Google Cloud Platform. But cloud really covers a much bigger infrastructure where we combine on-premises, actual data centers, we combine public cloud, and then we balance it with a management layer which allows you to seamlessly move critical data to on-premises to ensure its safety, while having the flexibility of using cloud resources and just having that much more room to maneuver in terms of where we store our data. Secondly, we need to ensure compliance with all healthcare regulations for patient data. That is a very obvious yet crucial one. Third, we need to implement a robust backup and disaster recovery measure, obviously fulfilling the aforementioned 3-2-1-1 strategy, and very importantly, constantly performing restore tests, because one of the most common mistakes made in the industry is where the backup strategy is implemented, but it's not consistently tested. And really, the goal of backups and disaster recovery is being able to restore in a controlled fashion. This is why tests are important. And the fourth one is strong data security measures that need to be implemented. Now, let's talk about some emerging trends that we are seeing as an IT infrastructure vendor for government and healthcare. So, first of all, a very interesting emerging concept is something called sovereign cloud. Now, historically, there has been a challenge in terms of combining the usage of public cloud and using it for actual healthcare, because one of the biggest problems of GDPR starts arising when data moves between borders. What sovereign cloud enables as a concept is being able to use public cloud that is built in such a way that the data never leaves a national border. So this is actually not some magic, but it's done in a very easy fashion, where top-tier cloud providers will partner with local data centers, and they will build the exact same cloud architecture, the exact same cloud infrastructure, but they will implement it within a local data center without any connectivity outside it. Secondly, a big one, and I'm a strong believer that it's gonna dramatically improve the quality of government and healthcare services, is the implementation of AI. A big part of government and healthcare services is very straightforward, checklist-driven decision-making, which takes considerably more time because of the human factor than it actually could. So for this reason, being able to utilize UI to make those easy, straightforward decisions in a manner which is 10, 20 times faster what it currently is going to dramatically change the citizen experience and the patient experience in both government and healthcare. The third one is automating data sharing mechanisms. Data sharing is one of the bigger challenges in terms of, especially healthcare, in terms of compliance, because as most of you know, with GDPR, patient data was initially one of the reasons why GDPR occurred, because the breach of such sensitive data hurts a person's life, basically. It can be very detrimental to it. So being able to ensure that the data can be accessed easily by the patients and the clinics that require to perform treatment, and at the same time, it's not moving anywhere else, there is only one way to ensure it, and that's complete automation and using compliant tools. And the final one is digital identity ecosystems. This is the most convenient way to make sure that only the person that is intended can access their data and manage their data and perform actions with it, and nobody else. What can be the biggest stopping point for those improvements in those sectors? We believe those are ransomware threats. Quite recently, actually, just a couple of years ago, healthcare became one of the main goals of ransomware because previously it wasn't as prevalent to target, but now there is a pretty much legal way to extort healthcare institutions in terms of ransomware because it is positioned as a penetration test, and once they gain access to patient data, they will offer consulting services to be able to fix the issue, or they will have to report the health institution to GDPR authorities, which will incur very high fines. Some statistics, 41% of the respondents experienced ransomware attacks over the past 2 years, so like half of worldwide companies. 265 billion is the damages incurred in only the first 6 months of 2023 by companies from ransomware. And healthcare and government are 2 of the 5 top targeted industries. So to quickly go over the steps that you need to protect your infrastructure, it's ensuring regular updates in terms of your software and operating systems, implementing strong firewall and using intrusion detection systems, regularly backing up your data, and training employees on recognizing and avoiding phishing emails and suspicious links, because social engineering is still #1 reason for threats. So we need to stand united and have similar standards for protection and data management across all endpoints for healthcare and government. Thank you for your time, and I hope everyone learned something new.
Thank you very much.